It's Tuesday, July 23rd, and I'm your host, Paula Hersey. On today's show, we welcome the Chief of Police back to the studio, learn more about a hands-free texting bill making its way through committee on Beacon Hill, and stop in at the Vineyard Wind office hours to learn more about the offshore wind project. Now for a look at municipal and legislative notes. Your town needs you. There is still time to take out nomination papers for the Barnstable Housing Authority and Town Council seats. Odd-numbered precincts in the town of Barnstable are up for re-election this fall, and there are 2 Housing Authority seats left. Today, Tuesday, July 23rd, is the last day to obtain nomination papers for the town election, and Tuesday, July 30th is the last day to submit nomination papers. You will need 150 signatures to get on the ballot. Don't delay, the clerk's office is open to 4:30 p.m. Did you misplace or forget to send in your Town of Barnstable census this year? Intern Olivia Morrow has an important public service segment on the town's inactive voter list.
Olivia Morrow here with a PSA. Each year the census is conducted in accordance with the Massachusetts general laws. By responding to the census, the town clerk's office are able to keep your voter's history and voting address up to date. However, voters are made inactive if we have not received their annual census or if they have moved and not notified us. We have a list at the town clerk's office of all the inactive voters. If you are an inactive voter, you will be asked to show ID and fill out a form before voting. If you are unsure or just want to check on your voter status, you can call the town clerk's office at 508-862-4044 or go to the website under Election Information and click on www.wheredoivote or come into the town hall office to find out more.
Chief Sonnabend is in the studio with some heat safety reminders and has the dates for 2 town events you won't want to miss. Welcome back, Chief Sonnabend. We're both back from vacation.
You're back. I was
I'm
here.
back from vacation.
Where were you? You were welcome back to me. Welcome back to you.
Welcome back to
play
me.
it off like I haven't been here.
Right. So I came back to a heat wave, and boy, tempers are flaring out there. And there's all sorts of things with heat.
Funny that it got warm in the summertime.
It
Fancy
did.
That, fancy that.
Fancy that.
Overall, people were handled it well. Power stayed on for the most part, and it seems like we did get through it. And but we do have to with the heat. Summer isn't over yet,
Right.
and we're going to have probably a few more humid days in August as usual. Got to remember about the pets.
Right.
Leaving your pet outside too long. Leaving your pet in the car too long. Come on.
Right.
Let's hear with the program.
So there's lots of things with folks that like to bring their pets everywhere that they go.
Yep.
I'm a pet owner, though we leave them home in the summertime. But there's always some confusion of, what do you do if you see a pet in somebody's vehicle? And I thought today maybe we could just touch upon the fact that call the police.
Yes, call the police. We'll get somebody out there to help you because there's a lot of variables to that. You don't know how long the pet's been there. You don't know, if you don't know if it's in distress. Obviously, if it's an emergency, you got to do what you got to do. But before you go smashing people's windows out, give us a call. We can come out there. We can run the plate. We can find out who it is. We can really assess it because sometimes people get a little overzealous. They smash the one window that isn't down, and all the others are down, and they not realizing what's going on. But we talk about pets, but too even children. Kids in the car. Come on, let's not leave our kids in the car, and take care of your pets. But the kids too. That's an issue too.
Yeah, and again, heat just generally tends to make people grumpy.
No.
Yeah,
no
but
way.
You always say be
no
nice.
Way. Yeah, well, be nice, but tempers get a little short when you get a little sweaty and your AC in your car isn't working and you're driving around stuck in traffic and you can't get anywhere on Route 28 and you can't take any left turns. Tempers do flare, but take a minute, is what you're arguing about, what you're really getting upset about, really going to make that much difference. And, with the traffic around, even if you were a couple car lengths ahead, are you really going to get anywhere any faster? Just be cautious, take your time, take care of your pets, make sure they're adequately watered, don't leave them in your car. If you're going somewhere for an appointment and you're not going to be in the car for a while, you'd be probably doing your pet a favor leaving them home in the AC as opposed to leaving them in the hot car, because it gets hot in a car really quick, really does.
Yeah, and just a quick reminder, folks crossing streets, just pay attention.
Yes, yes, yes. You know, and it just goes the same way with even with the pedestrians. You know, there are signaled intersections when a light says don't cross, because cars are thinking you're not going to cross, and they're not prepared to stop as quickly.
Right.
Cross at the crosswalks. You don't dart out between cars and everything else like that. You know, we don't want anybody to get hurt. And, you know, drivers, bicyclists too. Crosswalks apply to bicycles. You are a vehicle when you're on the road. If people are in the crosswalk, you have to stop for them too.
Okay.
So let's just make sure everybody has a safe summer and let's not get hurt.
Right.
Let's not get hurt in the last few weeks of summer.
Right, because there's like 2 really cool events that Barnstable Police Department are really involved in. First one is Unity Day.
Unity Day, August 3rd, Friday. Great afternoon out here on the Village Green. You'll be seeing our signs going up. The Barboza brothers are working with us again. Brian Morris and Lynn Poyant, the whole community coming together. The fire department's going to put on a nice show out there on the Village Green. Come on down. And,
You got Touch a Truck. You're bringing the big van.
We're gonna bring the big van. Gonna have the Touch a Truck down there. You know, we usually have the big wrecker down there, and you know, I believe that Natural Resources will be down there with their stuffed animals and stuff like that. They're the ones that, you know, they're not going out and stuffing animals live, you know.
Right.
But you know, the ones that come
They're
across,
taxidermy.
the taxidermies. They have passed away throughout the year. They pick them up and they send them off that are in good condition. But come on down, you know, and have a good time with everybody. Shake hands and let's have a, you know,
We're
let's
gonna
be nice
dunk
to
a
each other.
cop.
Huh?
Dunk a cop.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I know Officer Morrison likes to do that. You know,
He does.
Depends how hot it is, you know.
Right. If it was super hot last year, and
that's
he like lived in that little pool.
Yeah, let's make sure we keep putting fresh water in that little pool, because that water gets kind of disgusting after a while.
And then one of the most favorite events for Channel 18, and I'm sure for the entire police department, should bring smiles to everybody's faces this year, is Kids Day.
Kids Day, August 7th, Wednesday, the first Wednesday in August, right down at Barnstable High School. All the fire departments, police department, sheriff's department, state police. You know, our SWAT team is down there, canine demonstrations. Sometimes we get a helicopter. A lot of it depends on the weather and everything else like that. But, you know, 23rd year.
23 years.
Yeah, 23 years. I want to say thanks to Detective Kevin Connolly. He's been like running that show for a long time. He has a lot of help, but he's been really like the ringleader of that for a long time, and he's doing a great job. They're going to be raffling off bikes again this year, and I've heard there might even be some virtual reality headsets going out the door for the kids. So
no kidding.
Yeah,
wow.
really.
And it's all free food, so there's hot dogs and ice cream and chips and sodas, and basically the whole day
all
is
kinds of stuff.
in the
Hot
foam truck.
dogs. Oh yeah, and the foam truck. Oh, and Chief Jenkins and his hot dogs and everything on it.
Yeah.
The foam truck. Yep. It's not PFAS foam. It's good safe foam.
Right.
So
I think it's Joy dishwashing liquid, if I remember what they said last year.
Or is it
I was,
Finish?
yeah, it was something. Yeah, it was or Dawn to get the
something
grease
like
off.
That. You take all the grease off you.
Right, and
Yeah,
that
squeaky
runs.
clean.
That runs pretty much all day.
Yeah, it's like 10 to 2. You know,
10
get
to
down
2,
there early
yeah.
in the morning. Get down there. We got the dunk tank down there. So if you missed your chance to dunk a cop on Unity Day, you can come down and dunk us again on Kids Day.
And it's free.
Free. Best word in the English language. Free.
Excellent, and for all ages.
All ages, not just kids. So
Right.
maybe it's All Ages Day, but Kids Day sounds better than All Ages Day.
It certainly does. And thanks for making my re-entry back from vacation.
And welcome back.
Thanks, Chief. Hands-free driving is making its way through the legislative process. Representative Tim Whalen is working on the conference committee to reconcile the House and Senate bills. Fresh off the bus from Beacon Hill, with me today, Representative Tim Whalen. Tim, 4th of July, right around the corner. Where did spring go?
You know, up until about 3 days ago, I thought winter wasn't leaving us with all the rain, 50 degrees and rain. A week ago, I'm looking at my gas fireplace in the house, and I'm ready to go over and turn it on. And as I got halfway there, Paula, and I went to push, I said, no, this just isn't right. And I backed away and put on a sweatshirt, you know. It's just not right, but it's exciting. The 4th, it's almost here.
It is. 4th of July is obviously a big holiday across the Cape. It signals really, literally the start of our summer season.
Yeah.
What do you got planned?
Well, let me tell you first off, I got to tell you this 4th of July story. The best 4th of July that I ever had in my life was 30 years ago. I was down at Parris Island, South Carolina in recruit training. And for July 4th, one of the few highlights, memorable highlights, I mean, there were many memorable moments, but a memorable highlight would be when the Marine Band and the Silent Drill team came down to Paris Island and perform for us. And you're just a lowly recruit, and just reinforced to me just how much I love this great country and how much I love this holiday. It's so special. I know we've been talking about, I'm really excited for the Barnstable Village, the Barnstable, West Barnstable 4th of July Independence Day Parade. And that parade to me signifies America. There is no more Norman Rockwell parade that I participate in on the regular than that parade. That parade is absolutely, positively beautiful. Nice short parade, all the kids, we throw all sorts of candy around. Geez, all the American flags and the people that are in the parade, and so many friends. And I have a group of a few families that march with me, and they help out. And what a great way. It's in the morning, so what a great way to start off the rest of the day. And I can go home and I can celebrate our independence with my wife and with my daughters and our family, and just enjoy our nation.
Right, and that parade kicks off early in the morning. They're one of the first ones, I think, at 9 o'clock in the morning. So it's a great way to just get that celebration started and head down.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, you say 9 a.m. It's going to be nice and cool. Usually it's not. Usually I get a good sweat going. Of course, I like to run around and shake hands during the parade too, and seeing all those kids out there, it just reminds you what it's all about. We're a nation of families, and I love it.
Fantastic. We've got a couple of issues up on the Hill that you've been working on. Number one is something near and dear to my heart, is the hands-free bill.
Yes.
I've heard it's now in conference committee, and you're on that conference.
Yes, yep. So the House version and the Senate version, we have to reconcile the differences between the two. So they assign a 6-member committee, the conference committee, and I was assigned to it as one of the 3 members of the House members in conference on this. We had our first meeting last week. The negotiations we keep very close to the vest. We don't, we embargo them. We don't let them go outside the door. What I can tell you is, because it's public record, is what's out there in both bills, and I think that this is really critically important. With my 26 years of experience in law enforcement, I've knocked on too many doors in the middle of the night to deliver devastating news to families because of distracted driving, and a lot of it having to do with cell phones. And I think that we're finding that the problem's getting worse and worse. Everyone I speak to has said that they've been in traffic and looked to the right or looked to the left and seen someone with their phone in their hand playing with it. They've been driving down the road and they can see a car swerving at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They know that it's probably not someone who's OUI alcohol, and as they pull up, it's someone who's messing around with a phone. So we're trying to get our hands around this. This has been strongly advocated for by some of the families of victims, people who lost their lives to distracted driving. And I like what I see in pieces and parts, and I'm just looking forward to the work that we have ahead over the next several weeks in trying to come to a compromise solution, getting it enacted, getting it signed by the governor. The sooner the better, because we want to get this enacted before the busy summer driving season, and hopefully we'll save some lives.
Right. And this particular bill, again, let's dispel some of the myths of what it is. It's not that you can't use your phone while you're in your vehicle. There's specific parameters around the use of that phone.
Right. Both versions of the bill refer to what they call a one-touch or a one-swipe method of operating a phone. So, for instance, I have, one of my cars has Bluetooth installed. My other car that I drive, it's an old beater, and it does not. So I have an earpiece, and what I do is when I hear a call come in, it's a one-button push, and I have my conversation, and then I turn it off. So they refer to the one button, the one touch or the one swipe. That also affects, that it was written that way to account for like Uber and Lyft drivers as well, and people who keep their phones mounted on the, permanently mounted on their dashboard or on their windshield, that they can just reach up and they can touch it or they can swipe it to accept the call. And that would be, so it's allowed. You can have a telephone conversation. You can engage with your device to accept a telephone conversation or to make observations. I mean, they state directly in there that you can use it to look at mapping, mapping programs, right. But you can't have it, you can't be manipulating the electronic device in your hand. Okay. So I believe that we're gonna find that the intrusion is minimal. You and I come from a generation where we remember driving cars without having to make telephone calls, and we survived. Now I think that just given the number of injuries and the number of fatalities we've had, we have to address this. And what I've seen, I believe it's very fair, and I believe it won't be intrusive on the motoring public at all.
Right. And one of the things that we have noticed over the years past, there's been texting laws and things like that, is enforcement. Is there something within this bill that has some meat to the enforcement of?
Yeah.
Okay.
What it is it specifically refers to the hand manipulation of,
Great.
of the mobile electronic device. When I was on the state police and the texting ban was first passed, that was very much unenforceable because it referred then specifically to texting only. It also said that the person did not have to provide their phone to the police officer to see if they were texting or what have you. There was no prohibition on using your phone to dial a number. So everybody I pulled over who had a phone in their face and doing this, I walked up and they would say, oh, I was just dialing my friend's number. And I had no right, and I understand privacy laws, I had no right to ask to see the phone. So it gets to a point where, you know, if you can't prosecute it, are you going to make the stop? So this way, I believe all those questions have been answered in dealing directly with the hand manipulation.
Fantastic. And then just a quick update. Last time we talked, Ways and Means Committee, you're out there doing the stump around the state and talking about educational funding. Where are we?
So we have a pile of more money that right now the House version of the budget and the Senate version of the budget are likewise in conference. Locally on the conference committee is Senator Vinny DiMacedo. He's on that conference committee as well. Both the House version and the Senate version have put more money into Chapter 70 supports in other areas of public education as well. You know, we're always putting in more money into regional school transportation funding, also circuit breaker funding. We have to wait and see what the final number is going to be, but the final number is going to be significantly north of where it was last year and in years past.
Okay.
So that is dealing with this year's budget. We still have 3 bills that are currently being considered. They've all had hearings in front of the Joint Committee on Education, and that would be Governor Baker's bill for education funding reform, Representative Paul Tucker, my friend from Salem, his version of the bill, and Senator Sonia Chang Diaz's version of the bill, which has been termed the Promise Act. Those 3 are still being considered. The weight of legislation going forward is it doesn't just affect one budget at a time. It's an ongoing, permanent fix to the issue. There have been rumors circulating that for a couple months now that we might be taking this up before our July 31st break. Still remains to be seen. I'm hoping we can. If not, you know, when we start right back into full formal sessions September 1st going forward, my hope is that we would take it up then. I think it's high time that we fix this issue, and I'd like to see it done in such a way that it's fair to our local school committees, our local municipal governments, school superintendents, and all the stakeholders to let them know what next year's budgeting is going to look like. I don't want to be putting people through the exercise of next year's budget and then have us change everything come February. That would be unfair. And we can do it.
Excellent.
So it'll be interesting.
Fantastic. Well, thanks so much for the updates, and I am so looking forward to 4th of July.
Yeah.
Excellent. Happy summer, Tim.
Same to you. Happy 4th of July.
Vineyard Wind is holding office hours at the beach on August 10th. These sessions are helping residents understand the project and timeline for the first large-scale offshore wind project in the United States.
What's been a challenge to get across to some degree is that, you know, we're a phone call away, we're an email away. We pass our information out, and we're always actually eager to hear questions and thoughts people have. Sometimes we get local insights that are that we didn't expect that actually, you know, make significant improvements to the project, and it's really been a community-based development in the sense that we're trying to do something that works for the community. Well, I think the first distinction, which comes at a surprise to a lot of people, this is not Cape Wind. So Cape Wind was proposed 20 years ago for Nantucket Sound. Significant viewshed impacts in many people's view, lacking the policy structure and framework that was necessary to pursue these big goals that we have of climate change and emissions reductions. So while the Cape Wind saga unfolded, the feds, the states, and the local towns even started to do the hard work to really have their input and plan out how these things would work. So a major distinction is we're about 15 miles south of the islands, about 35 miles south of Cape Cod. that area that we're in was selected through a multi-year stakeholder process led by the federal government, bringing in all interests to the table and determining the optimal places to put the energy infrastructure that we need to transition to a clean energy economy. That's the number one piece. And the number two piece, I think, it's important to know that every element of onshore and nearshore construction has been designed to minimize impact. The project will be nearly invisible at its conclusion, most notably for Koval's Beach in the beachside area. Cape Cod lives and dies by its beaches. Horizontal directional drilling will put this cable so deep below the beach that it'll be out of the human environment permanently. It's about 30 feet below the beach at the tide line. That has a bunch of valuable purposes. Keeping it out of the human environment, ensuring long-term burial, also no disruption to the beach at surface level. So there's sensitive species in the nearshore and onshore area. By drilling basically magically deep below the beach, the way it's been done at Woods Hole to lay the cables to power Martha's Vineyard, you virtually eliminate shoreside impacts to any kind of sensitive species. And the third major piece is off-season work. We're not going to be in people's hair when the traffic's already bad. That's been a major stipulation of Barnstable to ensure that we minimize disruption. The conversations we've been having with town council and with town staff over the better part of a year resulted in a host community agreement that's going to deliver tens of millions of dollars worth of revenue supports to the town to help solve some of the long-standing environmental problems that they see down the road. And it also has ensured a really special kind of collaboration. When you're talking about public works, you're talking about an infrastructure project. Knowing that on both sides of the table, there are parties that are interested in working with each other and that benefit from working with each other, minimizing traffic impacts, maximizing the ability to co-locate utilities while we put our infrastructure in to save the town costs, to minimize the need for future road openings. It's been a really great case study in the way to work with communities, and we've been really proud of the relationship we have with Barnstable. Well, so Barnstable has a unique role in this, and in addition to the revenue supports that are coming with the project, and the things I mentioned, collaborating on some of the utility projects as best we can with public works in town to minimize costs, share resources. They'll be repaving. Koval's Beach is actually kind of a beat-up parking lot at the moment, and I know that the town has a really robust capital improvement plan. These things are on the list. They're probably a few years out, and they'll cost the town money to do. Repavement of the parking lot at conclusion, and then in addition to that, we're going to be supporting the reconstruction of the bathhouse there. So it's a bit of an enhancement to the beach experience. I think we wake up every morning hoping that the model for project development that brings all interests to the table and is honest and available and efficient is the number one thing we hope to set in this project. First and foremost, we need more energy resources in the region and the country. Secondly, we need renewable energy resources. And we need to work in those environments in a way that works for everyone. And if as our success builds, we hope that other than the finances and the engineering and all those other elements that are important, people understand that working with the communities that you work with is what builds the best project for everyone.
Here's a look at the upcoming meetings for boards, commissions, and committees. facts, things to do, places to go, and people to meet. Calling all muggles. Are you a Harry Potter aficionado? Care to flex that Harry Potter knowledge against some of your peers? Well, Cotuit Library has just the thing for you with a Harry Potter trivia night on July 31st from 6 to 8 p.m. Form teams up to 3 members and enter for a night of free food, trivia, and the chance to win some prizes. This program is free, but please register at cotuitlibrary.org/events or contact the library at 508-428-8141. Comments, suggestions, accolades, connect with us on Facebook, email us, or send us an old-fashioned note by carrier pigeon. Channel 18 works. For you, I'm Paula Hersey, and thank you for watching Barnstable Today.